It's true the world is waking up, but what are we waking up about? Well, it's happening in more ways than most people might think. Many of us know that our social system has been corrupted to benefit a small few, whilst the majority of people are enslaved to it. Yet, there's other common examples too. The money supply and the banking sector are the primary control mechanisms of the system, and those who have hijacked it for their own greed, wealth, power, and prestige. These oligarchs rule via a corporatocracy, which means that they dictate the direction of governments by infiltrating them with their puppets, as well as purchasing policy with the obscene vastness of monetary wealth they have accrued not just unethically, but criminally too. The mainstream media is used as their chief tool of belief control. Subliminal and hypnotic messages are used in advertising and television to covertly program how we think and behave. Celebrities and musicians are used to create and maintain an ignorant and misled population. Fear is purposely injected into the hearts and minds of the people to keep them poorly focused and distracted from their real nature. Schooling has intentionally been designed to create generations of left-brain belief repeaters who are very easy to control. A toxin-rich food supply is making society unhealthy. The pharmaceutical monopolies and the medical science they've purchased is fundamentally designed to keep us as sick customers. Natural and cheap remedies are made illegal or simply hidden in plain sight. A huge portion of the populace has been systematically dumbed down to the point where they are chainlessly enslaved. And because many people are waking up to these facts, society is building its innate capacity to take back its natural gift to create a just and honourable world. After all, we've got the ultimate power because we've got the numbers. However, there is much more to this rabbit hole. The core agenda of the deep state is to implement an impenetrable planetary control system. The subtle enslavement that characterises our current era is reflected on multiple dimensions, which go well beyond the material manifest world. In the mid-20th century, the powers that will no longer be influence a shift in the music frequency from A 432 Hz to A 440 Hz, as it encourages left brain thinking and causes less coherence in the mind and body because it is out of line with the deeper patterns of the universe, such as the phi ratio. The power pyramid pushes the debunked philosophy of materialism because it keeps us feeling separated from our fellow man, our environment, and the deeper layers of ourself. They are very active in the manipulation of energy, a practice best known as magic, where they conduct their own sorcery through spells of symbolism and ritual. They are also well aware of the growing threat posed by the awakening community, so they purposely distract us with false tangents of inquiry. Ultimately, there needs to be a unification process achieved by the people and the independent media to transcend this level of madness, which means putting our perceived differences to the side and working together in the name of freedom. It goes even deeper too, but we must all explore these doors for ourselves. So that's the systemic awakening. But what about the spiritual one? After all, there is a massive network of people who are becoming conscious of the nature of consciousness itself. There is a quality to life that is much more valuable than material success, such as being authentically connected to yourself as well as committed to the health and the growth of your being. The body and its cerebral, digestive and heart brains act like a filter of consciousness which creates human self-awareness, not consciousness itself. The observer mysteriously dances with the quantum world of possibility and manifestation. The inner and outer realms are interconnected and therefore synchronized to one degree or another, where this alignment can sometimes have a highly profound impact on our lives. There is an abundance of life throughout this construct of reality, and in some sense the universe itself is alive, because consciousness flows through all things. The micro and macro reflect each other because there are deep patterns of geometric, symbolic, mathematical, astrological, numerological, conceptual, and energetic order to our reality. These patterns are interrupted at the quantum level to accommodate free choice. Intuition is a right brain way of processing information and reaching conclusions. So deductive reasoning and intuition need each other as they work best in a harmonious relationship. There is a subtle energetic quality of the universe which goes by many names such as ether, life force, chi, prana, zero-point energy, orgone, and just consciousness itself. This life energy is measurably different to heat and electricity because instead of moving from high to low potential, it flows in the opposite direction, creating a balance to entropy. Obviously, this area of knowledge goes into much deeper esoteric territory too. There are many layers of truth, including that the interconnected self and the individual self are equally valid perspectives. We cannot know any absolute truth beyond the construct we're in, which means we can only connect with absolute and relative truths within this context. The physical world is a highly dense vibration on a wide spectrum of frequency and dimension. The sound of all energy can be influenced through an individual's instrument of intent and action. Our body-brain computer can, to a certain degree, be reprogrammed and upgraded, including on neurological, cellular, and molecular levels. Not only do we emit, attract, and direct electromagnetic and life force energy through our conscious mind, but we also do it more strongly via our subconscious and energetic blueprint, which is synonymous with the body and soul. Developing greater alignment between these three layers through meditation and other practices can result with greater awareness and greater power in manifesting our future. This rabbit hole obviously has many other explored and unexplored tunnels of reality. So no matter where you are in the development of your own awareness, all of this indicates that regardless of whether you're personally conscious of certain systemic truths, certain spiritual truths, or both, no one is fully awake. The fact remains that there is no such thing as being fully awake. Put simply, we are only conscious of certain realities, some of which might turn out to be misguided or utterly false. So given that waking up has no end, we should always view other people as at their own stage of expansion, just as we are. And we need to accept that there's a real possibility that what we think we know, no matter how convicted we are, will change as we change. At least let's hope so, because there is a much better chance that we will finally come together to bring more magic and honour back to our mad, beautiful world.